Hey guys, Ponce here on the PBE, here to talk to you guys about an interesting little change to Singed. I was actually asked specifically about this balance change. Someone must have seen it somewhere. So yeah, it's not exactly a nerf or a buff. Technically, I guess it's a buff more than anything. But yeah, what they've done is they made it so Singed poison damage ticks 4 times every second for the same amount over the total second. But basically the damage is kind of spread out. I'll show you what I mean here with a little bit of proxying. We'll just turn the poison on. So watch how it's ticking up. Like, I'm going to turn it off. See, look how the damage is going in very small increments there. And then it totals up to what it is. But so it's, you see it ticking multiple times per second like that. So it's going like, I don't know what the exact amount per, like, I guess I'll call it a micro tick. But, I mean, you guys have to see what I'm talking about here. Like, you know, if you can't see that, I don't know how else to explain it. So, yeah. Again, it's like not really a balance change. I mean, it is a balance change. It's not like a huge buff, or it's not definitely not a nerf. As far as I can't think of a way that it would be a nerf. Now, in the way it's sort of a buff is that every time you basically spread damage out, but end up having it be the same amount of damage, it does at least improve your ability to do things like CS, or even get like last hits on enemies and stuff like that. Simply because you're increasing your odds of getting the final damage through the course of that second, as opposed to getting a big spike at the last second. Now, it could interact weirdly with CS, where that extra little bit of damage, you know, puts it over the edge, and then like a minion will last hit it. But that really shouldn't be too much of an issue. Generally speaking, if you take it at a much larger scale, the way I like to think of it is with the first champion that I ever, like, what I would call maining, when I first started League of Legends sometime back in, you know, the 60s or something, whenever the game was released, I played Mordekaiser. And Mordekaiser, I noticed, I mean, there's several reasons I got an absurd amount of kills on Mordekaiser, but I even just kind of in the midst of battle, I would soak up a lot. Now, granted, he was tanky back then and dealt a lot of damage, and no one knew what they were doing, and most people kind of sucked, and I kind of picked up on the game relatively quickly. Those are factors, but at the same time, also, Mordekaiser, the way, not so much now, I mean, it's kind of similar, but Mordekaiser, back then at least, did sort of very, very consistent damage over a very long period of time, at least the way I built him anyway, by getting tons of CDR. So I was sitting at max CDR, and I'd just be continuously pumping out damage. And then so it would be more likely that even though I didn't have crazy burst, like a lot of the times just over an average over time, people would do their burst, and then I would get in like the small last hit because I was continuously doing sort of a whole bunch of medium-sized hits. So just sort of that sort of principle. Generally speaking, if it is all possible, if you're going to do the same amount of damage in a given amount of time, it's better to spread that damage out in that amount of time. You don't have to do it all at once at the end. Granted that, I mean, if you're talking burst over damage versus time, there is going to be a difference. But again, I'm talking about if the damage is the same amount, regardless, it may as well be spread out, typically. And again, this is a very complicated issue if you factor in stuff like healing and then the duration of time we're talking about, etc., etc. And that's another topic I could probably make a video on. But for the purposes of like 1 second, this isn't an issue. We're talking about spreading damage out over 1 second. So anyway, there you have it. People were wondering how this works and what exactly is going on there. Yeah, that's what it is. I'll show you one more time. We just kind of run out here and note how the damage is ticking. Now, it's not like coming in the chunks of, it should be, I don't know, roughly, it looks like it should be coming, at least under the old system, chunks of 40. Right now, it looks like it's going up in chunks of like 9, or actually, what's 40 divided by 5? That would be 8. Yeah, so it looks like I'm doing damage in chunks of 8. There we go. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm off to go stream on twitch.tv like I usually do after these videos. If you're interested, that's in the description. But anyway, that's Singed, or the Singed balance chains. Goodbye.